Hey everybody, this is Kara Crossweight Brindle. Welcome back to another video featuring one of our amazing therapist colleagues who takes Medicaid. Today we have Moya with us, and you are looking at this video in our Colorado Mental Health Providers group, Facebook group. So Moya, I'm going to introduce you. Obviously, I want you to share more about who you are and what you do if you're willing, and I'm hopeful that the group can get to know you better. So take it away.
Thank you. So my name is Moya Smith. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. The group that I work with is called Rocky Mountain Center for Families and Children, and it's 3 clinicians, another LCSW and an LPC, and I, who we're separate entities, but we work under the same group, and we all work with foster and adopted children and families.
Amazing.
Yeah, so very niche oriented. And I would say, there is occasionally an adult I see, but it's usually someone who has come through that background themselves, or sometimes the parent of a child who is having their own reactions to whatever's going on with the difficulties they're having with their kiddo who needs some help. So the way I work is that except for teens, when I'm working with younger kids, I do half my session with the parent to spend a lot of time doing coaching and how can you handle this situation and how can you see, what's behind this behavior. So we're not working on let's stop this behavior. We're curious, what's happening here?
Good.
And then the rest of the session for the kids 12 and under is parents and kids and I together.
Nice.
Love to use TheraPlay, which is very parent or adult directed kind of play therapy, and it does wonders. I've seen wonders in just ability to self-regulate, changes in need for control, and just in trust of the parent. So that's I love it. I just love working with the parents and the kids together because you get to see the dynamic of the relationship change. So it's
I
great.
can see it. I mean, you're just both of us are grinning. It's this is a very important population you're serving. And, I'm kind of a fan of all the attachment work. And so I can totally see how this plays into what you've just described of building those connections and helping them repair and just fostering good connection between parent and child. Absolutely.
So, and then the other modality that I use a lot of is EMDR,
Nice.
Which I love, is brilliant, takes a lot of extra time, of course, when we're doing it with kids for resourcing because they don't have the resources that we do as adults. But just even in the resourcing, there's so much healing happening. So I love that. I love seeing what the kids can do and how brilliant their brains are in figuring out their trauma. These little kiddos, they're just amazing. So that's the work I do. And I came to it because I actually did an English degree, and then I did PR, and I was in public relations for years in power industry. And when I got married and had kids, I decided I would be a stay-at-home mom. So we had 2 boys born to us, and then we adopted 2 girls internationally.
Wow.
And in that journey of looking, and at that time, 20 years ago, there were not, it wasn't even just a Denver thing. Widespread. There were not a lot of resources, and we've come so far in understanding the neurobiology of the brain and, the ventral vagal system and just all kinds of amazing things. And so when my youngest went to kindergarten, off I went to grad school.
Oh my gosh, all at the same time. Wow.
All at the same time. So, I'm actually, been in the field for about 9 years. It's not like a lot of people have been in a lot longer, but this is specifically what I wanted to do, what I'm passionate about, because I see, what my own kids went through.
Right.
And, I think it's a gift to be able to work with these kids. The other piece is, we got families that are just working so hard for these kids. They're just doing everything. So it really does sort of nourish you as you're doing this tough work sometimes.
Well, it's bringing me back to memories of working with DHS cases, which of course Medicaid and foster and adoption and all of those things go hand in hand. And so I'm just finding myself remembering how critical that was to have someone who could normalize what was happening to some degree, who could give those resources, who could say, we're going to work on this. There's hope, because a lot of those parents would come in overwhelmed and defensive because they had DHS in there saying you're doing something right or you're doing something wrong. Right. And so I really appreciate the work that you do, because there's plenty of families who needed some reassurance and an ally to say we got this, we're together on this.
And it's so gratifying, right, to work with people that are just, everybody's in this together. So, and then the reason why I came to take Medicaid was because the two just naturally go together. I just felt like,
Exactly.
this grand population of kids that were adopted out of foster care, domestically, that's how most of them, get their behavioral health care.
Right.
And I felt like if I was not taking Medicaid, I felt like I was really missing a big part of the population I wanted to serve. So we don't take, none of us take any other insurance. We all three take Medicaid because
that's awesome.
that is just, they feel like dedicated to serving as part of the bigger population of who we serve.
Absolutely. And it's funny because as we've done these videos, and you and I talked off recording on this, like you've even met some people, some colleagues in our area that are doing similar work. So I hope that you guys are all watching these videos together and being like, oh my gosh, we do some of the same populations or the same niches, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Medicaid.
It's so cool to find someone that does that niche work, which I have found already from watching these videos, who does this niche work and takes Medicaid, because, when you're full or you need something specific, it's not just finding someone who does the work in that field, right? Like adoption, foster care, but also takes Medicaid. Yes. So, the more people I can have on that list, the better my clients do.
Right. Have options. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so I want to circle back to a part where you were talking about EMDR with kids. So obviously, I work with adults, so I haven't had the same creative experience with EMDR, but I'm curious, are there any creative tools you use to help them when you're thinking of that resourcing lens or even like the bilateral? Because I feel like so many of these colleagues of ours are doing some awesome work with just, how do we reach this with kids so it doesn't feel weird to them? I don't know. My brain just exploded with questions. So there's one for you.
They're so open to it, right? Because kids, they're really, a lot of them are down to do anything. And so one of the things we do, one of the common exercises with EMDR is our container, which is adults. We're like, oh, I can imagine this, right? But our kids, especially our kids from trauma, some more concrete, some more black and white. So we go to Michael's, use my coupons well, and just buy like some raw wood little boxes, little treasure boxes, and sometimes they have a little lock it or close it. And we bring in stickers and buttons and our glue gun and glittery things and jewels, and they just decorate the heck out of that.
Awesome.
And decorate it inside and out, and then they take rocks, so the things we've identified as things that they want to work on. Then they take, I have some rough sort of rocks that they take in, and over time as we work through them, we change them into really smooth rocks. And then at the very end of our work together doing EMDR, then they can take that home, and now they have the good thoughts in that box. But they always have this like place to say, this is where I'm going to put my thoughts until I can come back to this. So, the amazing pieces of artwork I've seen from kids, has been it's very fun. It's just a very fun thing to do.
Creative expression. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's tons of things to do. And Ana Gomez, who I did the week-long training with in Arizona, she has, tons of resources, but she actually has a little game you can play. So
nice. She's kind of the guru when it comes to child EMDR, as far as I know. Because obviously I don't work with kids right now in my career, but I feel like she's the name I keep hearing from everyone of like, she's amazing. She's got great ideas.
She does.
That's awesome. Sure. And I love how symbolic that box becomes of like, they can take it home with them, or that can even be part of like the graduation of therapy at some point. Like, I think that's so much more personal, which I love, versus some of the things that I think we struggle to get creative and say, what would be meaningful for our clients? And here's something they've, done in the room, created together, and then get to take home. That's very symbolic.
Yeah, I think it is for them. They
cool.
have great pride in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it sounds like it's quite a process. And I love Michael's. I remember doing that as well when I worked with children. I'm like, okay, get a coupon. We're going to go find something creative and expressive to do. And it was just a nice rapport builder, but also just gave them something to focus on, so it didn't feel quite so heavy when we were doing that work.
Right.
Very cool. Well, Moya, this has been awesome. I appreciate you sharing with everyone. And I love these videos because we get a sense of your personality, and your passion shows up in the video. And so I just want to thank you for being here today. And hopefully our viewers will get a chance to reach out to you. I'm going to put your links down here at the bottom of the video so everyone can see how to reach you. And for our viewers, I hope you'll stay tuned for more videos. This is how we are networking right now. So this is pretty cool because now we know a little bit more about each other.
Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for all the work you're doing with this group. It's a great resource for all of us. So I appreciate that.
Oh, I appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. And everyone, we'll see you in the next video.